Welcome back to Talking Elvis. I wanted to do another Memphis video, and this thing is finally given up, which I used to connect the VCR to my laptop to try and get footage from old VHS tapes. So there's so many things we can talk about when it comes to Elvis. And I thought, well, you know, I do that thing on my computer that I've showed you before, a day in the life, and I have all these thousands of photographs all catalogued by day. I thought, yeah, maybe we should do a series, a day in the life. And then I thought, what will we do for the first one? And then I saw a post on Facebook. Somebody had posted a photograph of Elvis at the Jaycees, one of the photographs when he's coming out. And there was a big argument about it on Facebook between fans because they were saying, oh, that's not 1971, but it is 1971. So we're going to take a look at that. The 16th of January, 1971.
Of her promise, the flame of her faith, the love that would never drift away. Where did they go, Lord? Where did they go?
I do like to put Elvis's life into a little bit of context or perspective. December 1970 was a super busy time. There was the famous visit to the White House to visit Nixon, of course. But we're going to start on the 31st of December 1970. And Elvis is in Washington because he's gone to visit the FBI headquarters. He arrives back in Memphis that night on a leased private plane, gets into Memphis in time for the New Year's Eve party at TJ's nightclub, which was situated at 94 North Avalon Street in Memphis. The building has undergone a lot of renovations since that time. It was a Sprint store fairly recently, but now I believe it's a T-Mobile shop. On the 1st of January 1971, Elvis is at the Memphian Theatre. He watches a movie called The Boys in the Band. He's back again the next night when he puts on The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. He doesn't like that much. It's switched off soon after the start. And then he watches Moonshine War and Soldier Blue. Elvis really was major movie buff, especially after the army. Coming back in 1960, every time he's at home, he is at the Memphian and watching movies. On the 3rd of January, Elvis leaves town and flies to Dallas to meet with the police department. He flies under the name of John Burroughs. He returns home on the 5th and immediately goes back to the Memphian and watches Sidney Poitier's movie Brother John, and then watches Alex, not Alice, Alex in Wonderland. He stays at home on the 7th, and on the 8th, it's his birthday, he's back at the movies again. He watches Mackenzie Brake, and he watches a comedy called The 12 Chairs. The next day, he flies to Los Angeles and goes to the house at Hillcrest. On the 13th, he's at RCA Studios rehearsing for the upcoming Vegas engagement. And on the 15th, he makes his way back to Memphis via Las Vegas. He arrives on a private plane, but he doesn't go home. He and Priscilla go and stay at the Holiday Inn on West Georgia Avenue. He will receive his Jaycees award the next day. Although he misses the banquet ball and reception that evening, he buys 25 watches from Harry Levitch. These watches with his name on it, which I first saw in the Sean Schaefer book from 1979. It is not entirely clear when Elvis found out that he was being honoured by the Jaycees. It was first reported in a newspaper in Toledo on the 6th of January. The Memphis newspaper, the Commercial Appeal, announces it on the 9th, the day after Elvis's 36th birthday. What was the Jaycees and why was it so important to Elvis? It still exists. It's a civic organization for young business community leaders focusing on leadership, volunteer work, and improving local communities. Elvis was deeply moved by the award because it wasn't about record sales or box office sales. It acknowledged his character and contribution to society. My understanding is that to be classed as eligible as a young man, you need to be under the age of 37. Therefore, Elvis's last opportunity to receive the award. You also need to be nominated by a sponsor. In this case, his name was put forward by Bill Morris, Elvis's friend and sheriff of Shelby County, Tennessee. On the morning of the 16th, from 8 a.m. until 9:15, Elvis and his entourage are at the prayer breakfast. It's noted that Elvis's hair is very long and he's covered in diamonds. Everyone apparently stopped what they were doing when he entered the room. The word used to explain the feeling when he walked in the door was electric. At 10 a.m. there was a forum, and Ronald Ziegler, who was the White House press secretary, said, and I quote, "I found him to be somewhat articulate and a well-poised individual. However, an individual who was withdrawn and somewhat shy. I think all of us were very moved by Elvis. He was a natural, nice man. I liked him." At 12 p.m. there was a luncheon, and after the meal Elvis spotted Marion Keisker. It's not clear what she was doing there, but Elvis walked over and embraced her. He then took her back to his table, introducing her to Priscilla and telling Priscilla that if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. I love this photograph. It's just like he's hanging around. And here is a photograph of Elvis shaking hands with the future President George Bush after the luncheon. And of course, this footage that we are all familiar with.
Wouldn't be lonely.
Marty Lacker recalls that after the luncheon was completed, Elvis invited all the nominees out to see Graceland. He says we had Graceland done up real sharp, and he would greet everybody individually and shake their hands at the front door. Elvis had arranged a dinner party at the Four Flames restaurant on Poplar Avenue. He arrives just after 6 p.m. with a police motorcycle escort. Elvis and his friends, including Bill Morris, are all there. It's not clear who Elvis invited for the dinner, but one of the nominees, Walter Homan, said that he was there and they had a fantastic evening and a fantastic dinner. You can spot the former Four Flames restaurant, if you're heading downtown on Poplar Avenue, it's on the left-hand side, you can see the columns. I think there might only be 2 columns there now. At 8 p.m. the awards ceremony got underway. Where else other than the Ellis Auditorium, a well-known fixture for Elvis's life going way back to when he was a teenager. Elvis's acceptance speech lasts less than 1 minute. The first part of the speech is in his own words. The end is also. In the middle, he uses some lines from a song called Without a Song, written in 1929. We know that for the next several months, Elvis carried that award around with him. It's now on display at Graceland.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank the Jaycees for electing me as one of the outstanding young men. When I was a child, ladies and gentlemen, I was a dreamer. And I read comic books and I was the hero of the comic book. I saw movies and I was the hero in the movie. So every dream that I ever dreamed has come true 100 times. And these gentlemen over here, you see these type of people who care, who are dedicated, you realize that it's not possible that they might be building the kingdom of heaven. It's not too far-fetched in reality. I'd like to say that I learned very early in life that without a song, the day would never end. Without a song, a man ain't got a friend. Without a song, the road would never bend. Without a song. So I'll keep singing the song. Good night. Thank you.
So that is a day in the life. Saturday, the 16th of January, 1971.
I cry out my questions